Well, welcome back to SFL. And for the talk I'm going to have today, I want to talk about three intangibles. A lot of you know that in my fifth year, I only made $22,000. And I don't want to show it off, but there's that $1 million ring. And I've been making, massive passive income for a long time. And there's three intangibles that I believe helped me get here. You know what the first one is? It's belief. So you can make it in this business if you don't have anyone believing in you, but you'll never make it if you don't believe in yourself. And here's why. People buy your belief. They don't buy WFG. They don't buy the product. They don't buy the system. They buy your belief in the company, your belief in the leadership, your belief in the product, your belief in the system. Because here's why. Because we vibrate with our belief, but we also vibrate with our lack of belief. So you could say the same words that Jeff Levitan says, you could say the same words that Jamie Villalobos says, and you know what? You're gonna be vibrating a negative vibration if you don't have belief in yourself. So that's the first thing I'll tell you. And in the beginning, I had to learn how to borrow belief because I didn't have belief in myself. Now the second big intangible is habit. Confucius said that people are very similar, but what separates people are their habits. Your habits are either going to be your greatest servant. I remember when John Shin wanted to buy a place in Costa Rica and he told me how many points he'd have to get over a 6-month period of time to pay for it. I remember when Eric Olson told me that he was building this thing up north, like a lodge up there for his team. And he knew exactly how much money he was going to have to make to take care of it. And I remember Jeff Levitan telling me, Greg, I'm going to get one of those Sprinter limos. Now he could have paid cash for it, but he said, I've got to get my base shop doing $100,000 a month, 3 months in a row, and he did it. So you see, here's a big secret. The successful people in WFG, their boss is their habit. Now, if you had a job and your boss said, if you're not here at 8 a.m. tomorrow, you're fired, you would get there on time, but how come when you're running your own business, you don't sometimes? You've got to learn to let your habits and your goals become your boss. Because it can either be a great servant of yours or it could be a ruthless dictator. And you'll worry about money for the rest of your life. And then the third one, of course, is learning how to sell the dream. I was terrible at it. I kept recruiting people to a part-time financial services company, and nobody's interested in a part-time financial services company. But then I learned how to sell the dream of WFG. And you know how you do that? You do your homework. When you're going on an appointment, you ask people about somebody. What would they do with an extra $1,000 or an extra $2,000? What do they want? And if someone says, you know what, I want to put my kids in a private school, but I can't afford the $1,500 a month. Well, when I go on the appointment, I say, hey, Susie, if you happen to make $1,000 or $1,500 a month, what would you do with that money? And then she would say, wow, Greg, I can't believe you said that, but I really want to put my kids in private school. I say, Susie, if you introduce me and your brother to 4 families a month, I'm going to show you where to get that $1,500, and we're going to put your child in that private school. See, she doesn't care about IULs. She doesn't care about WFG. We spend so much time talking about all these other things, but if you're really selling the dream of the business, that's what I mean by that. Then you have to also learn how to sell the dream of the product, because nobody's interested in those illustrations that we keep showing people. Only financial planners are. See, they care about the money. So if I say, Madeline, what would you like to do if you retired at age 55 or 58 or 60? Let's say $7,000 a month in today's dollars. Absolutely tax-free. And she says, Greg, I always wanted to have a boutique. Tell me about it. So she tells me all about it. So when I come back on the second appointment, guess what at the door? My body language is 55%. The tone of my voice is 30%. So I pound on that door. And she comes to the door and says, Greg, what's going on? I said, Madeline, remember you told me about that boutique you wanted? She says, yeah. I says, I got the answer right here in my folder. Let's take a look at it. I said, you said you could put $400 a month away. And if you did that at age 56, you can now take out $6,000 a month, absolutely tax-free. Now tell me about that boutique. Do you have a blueprint for it yet? And guess what? Is it going to be hard for me to have her sign those forms? No, because I didn't sell a product. I sold the dream of the product. So you focus on those three intangibles and you will be one day set for life.